This is not a surprise to anybody. It's really sad that it's got to this point, but I've got to do something for my own mental health, for my wife's. So it did seem a little bit strange that somehow the rules were being changed or that I was being guided on a very different path.
Prince Harry has never spoken ill of his wife, Meghan Markle. But what he revealed in a recent interview has shocked the world. According to reports, Harry has finally broken his long silence and opened up about truths the public never expected to hear about Meghan Markle. Even more surprising, he exposed what truly caused the deep rift between him and the royal family. This has completely changed how the public now sees Meghan. But what exactly did Prince Harry reveal, and why is it coming out? Now, join us as we uncover what Harry said about Meghan that left the world absolutely speechless. What Prince Harry said about Meghan. In a very recent interview in California, Prince Harry was asked a wide range of questions, and one of the first things he admitted immediately drew attention. He revealed that he truly wants reconciliation with his father, King Charles, and other members of the royal family. Harry explained that continuing the feud no longer feels right to him, adding that life is precious and too short to be consumed by ongoing conflict. This did not come as a surprise to many. However, what Harry said when he was asked if he thinks that his wife Meghan caused the rift between him and his family left everyone speechless. According to reports, Prince Harry once said he believed things might have turned out differently if Meghan had not been in the picture. Many people quickly interpreted this as Harry blaming his wife, Meghan Markle, for the deep rift between him and the royal family. Even without a direct admission, a large section of the public believes this narrative fits. Before Meghan entered his life, Harry appeared to live happily within the royal family. The serious conflicts seemed to begin around the time he started dating Meghan, a relationship the family reportedly opposed from the start. Because of this, whether Harry openly admits it or not, Meghan is often seen by the public as the person who triggered the breakdown. Still, this is not the first time Harry has spoken about missing his home or wishing for reconciliation. One notable moment, the second major one, came in May 2025 during a BBC interview after he lost a legal case over his UK security arrangements. In that interview, Harry said he still loves the UK and misses parts of it deeply, even though he now lives in California with his family. He spoke about how much the country means to him, despite what he described as the actions of some people there. He also expressed sadness that under the current circumstances, he may not be able to show his children their homeland. Before that interview, Harry had made similar comments back in 2022, admitting that he missed his family during periods of separation and that balancing work-from-home life with young children was challenging. All of this has led many to ask an important question. Why are these feelings coming out so strongly now? Is Prince Harry truly ready for the reconciliation he has spoken about on several occasions? And perhaps most controversially, has Harry directly or indirectly blamed Meghan Markle for the troubles within the royal family? The answers, it seems, may surprise many. The report claiming that Prince Harry blamed Meghan for all the trouble within the royal family has not been officially confirmed by the prince himself. In fact, when you look closely at Harry's own words over the years, a different picture emerges. Rather than shifting blame onto Meghan, Harry has consistently taken responsibility for their decisions or redirected criticism toward other forces he believes played a role in the breakdown. At no point has Harry publicly said that Meghan forced him to leave the UK or pushed him away from royal life. In the Netflix documentary Harry and Meghan, he directly addressed this idea. Harry made it clear that stepping back from royal duties was his decision, not Meghan's. He explained that whenever a man changes his life or chooses a different path, Society often looks for a woman to blame. According to him, blaming Meghan for that decision was misogyny at its best. In his view, people found it easier to point fingers at Meghan rather than accept that he made a conscious choice for himself and his family. Beyond that, Harry has repeatedly defended Meghan whenever negative stories surfaced about her. One of the clearest examples came in his memoir, Spare, where he dismissed allegations that Meghan bullied palace staff. He described those claims as a work of fiction and suggested they were part of a broader media campaign meant to damage her reputation. Instead of distancing himself from her, Harry stood firmly by her side, rejecting the idea that she was the source of chaos within the palace. Harry has also pushed back strongly against the narrative that Meghan changed him or ruined his relationship with his family. Over the years, tabloids have portrayed Meghan as the reason Harry became distant, outspoken, or less aligned with royal traditions. Harry has openly disagreed with this framing, arguing that it strips him of agency and paints him as someone who cannot think or act for himself. In his view, these stories are designed to fit a familiar and damaging storyline rather than reflect reality. Much of the blame directed at Meghan, in fact, does not come from Harry at all. It often comes from royal commentators, unnamed palace sources, or media figures who claim she influenced Harry, made him too woke, or turned him against his family. These are external interpretations, not Harry's own words. While such claims have gained traction in public debates, Harry himself has never supported that version of events. Where Harry has assigned blame, he has tended to look elsewhere. He has openly criticized the British media, accusing it of harassment, misinformation, and targeting Meghan in ways he found cruel and dangerous. He has also blamed the royal institution at times, saying it failed to protect his wife and did not challenge damaging narratives when it mattered most. In some instances, he has even expressed disappointment in members of the royal family for not stepping in or speaking out. However, these criticisms are aimed at systems and structures, not at Meghan as an individual. Taken together, Harry's past statements suggest a clear pattern. While the public may speculate that Meghan caused the rift, Harry himself has consistently rejected that idea. He has defended her, taken ownership of major decisions, and placed responsibility on the media and the institution he believes mishandled the situation. So, while reports may claim otherwise, Harry's own record tells a far more revealing story. That said, whether those claims are true or not, one thing is clear. Prince Harry and Meghan have reportedly lost a significant number of royal privileges since stepping back from royal duties. Much of this has happened quietly, far beyond what the public usually sees or fully understands. Let's break down the royal privileges Prince Harry and Meghan are believed to have lost after leaving the royal family and official royal life. Keep watching. What Prince Harry and Meghan really lost after walking away from the royal family. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan used to be getting many privileges from the royal family, but their stepping out has cut off those privileges. When they chose in January 2020 to step down as senior working members of the British royal family and pursue a life split between the United Kingdom and North America, they didn't just leave royal duties, they also exited a system of support, protection, and funding that comes with being full-time royals. The changes haven't just been symbolic. They've had real consequences for everything from security to staffing, financial backing, official backing, and even how they're treated by authorities and the public. When Harry and Meghan were working royals, they benefited from long-standing traditions tied to Britain's monarchy. One major source of support was the Sovereign Grant, an annual payment from the United Kingdom government that funds the official duties of the monarchy. This grant is not a gift. It is a legal arrangement created to cover the costs of public work carried out on behalf of the Crown. It pays for staff salaries, official travel, office costs, and maintenance of royal residences used for duties. The sovereign grant comes from the profits of the Crown Estate, a vast portfolio of land and properties historically connected to the monarchy. Since 1760, the Crown Estate has been managed by the state, with its profits paid into the treasury. In return, the government provides funding to support the monarch and working royals. Over time, this arrangement became formalized, with a fixed percentage of Crown Estate profits allocated annually as the sovereign grant. Senior working royals like Harry and Meghan were part of the group entitled to benefit from this system while they carried out official duties. Alongside the sovereign grant, Harry and Meghan also received funding from the Duchy of Cornwall, which at the time was controlled by Prince Charles before he became King Charles. The Duchy of Cornwall is a private estate established in 1337 to provide income for the heir to the throne. It generates millions of pounds annually from farmland, commercial property, and investments. As Prince of Wales, Charles used duchy income to support his sons and fund their official offices. Clarence House financial reports showed that most of Harry and Meghan's operational costs were covered through duchy funds rather than directly from taxpayers. That changed when they announced they wanted to be financially independent. Stepping back meant they lost access to sovereign grant funding and stopped receiving routine financial support from the Duchy of Cornwall. This wasn't a punishment. It was a consequence of no longer performing official duties. The system is designed so that public money supports public service. Once Harry and Meghan stopped being working royals, the financial support attached to that role ended. One of the most visible consequences involved their home. Frogmore Cottage, near Windsor Castle, had been renovated for Harry and Meghan using public funds drawn from the sovereign grant. When they stepped down, they agreed to repay the full cost of the renovation, estimated at £2.4 million, as part of separating themselves from royal finances. This repayment symbolized their exit from the publicly funded royal system. But that is not all. Security is where the loss of privilege became most controversial. As a senior working royal, Prince Harry automatically received full-time, taxpayer-funded police protection in the United Kingdom. This protection is not casual bodyguarding. It is organized at the highest level of government. Decisions are made by the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, which includes representatives from the Home Office, Metropolitan Police, and Royal Household. Protection officers are trained specialists with access to intelligence, firearms, and legal authority that private guards do not have. In February 2020, after Harry stepped down and relocated abroad, the committee ruled that he would no longer qualify for automatic police protection funded by the public. Instead, his security would be considered case by case when he visited the United Kingdom. This meant giving advance notice and allowing authorities to assess threat levels for each visit. This was a major downgrade from the permanent protection he once enjoyed. Harry strongly opposed this decision. He believed that his risk profile had not changed, and that he remained a high-value target due to his birth, military service, and public profile. He also pointed out that hostility toward him and Meghan had increased rather than decreased. Despite this, the government maintained that protection is tied to role, not status, and that non-working royals living overseas cannot expect the same level of state-funded security. Harry took the matter to court. He challenged the fairness of the committee process and argued that he had been treated differently from others in similar positions. He also attempted a separate legal route. He then offered to pay personally for British police protection, arguing that this would remove the burden from taxpayers. The courts rejected this argument, stating that police services cannot be bought privately, as it would create unequal access to public resources. In May 2025, Harry suffered a major legal defeat when the Court of Appeal dismissed his case. The judges ruled that while his concerns were understandable, they did not override the government's authority to decide how public security resources are allocated. The court explained that his decision to step away from royal duties directly affected his eligibility for protection. This ruling closed the door on restoring his previous security arrangements. The impact of this decision goes beyond Harry himself. Meghan and their children, Archie and Lilibet, also do not receive automatic United Kingdom police protection. Harry has openly said this makes it extremely difficult for him to bring his family back to Britain. In interviews, he has stated that without proper security, returning to the United Kingdom feels unsafe, especially given past threats and public attention. Another major loss was institutional support. As working royals, Harry and Meghan had a fully staffed office within the royal household. Their aides handled scheduling, media relations, charity coordination, and government liaison. When they stepped down, this office was dismantled, staff were reassigned or let go, and Harry and Meghan lost access to the deeply embedded support structure that senior royals rely on. They also lost the privilege of representing the monarch officially. Before leaving, they undertook royal tours and engagements on behalf of Queen Elizabeth, acting as symbols of the British state abroad. These roles brought prestige, access, and influence that only come from official royal endorsement. Once they stepped away, those responsibilities and the authority that came with them were reassigned to other working royals. Financially, while Harry and Meghan have since built independent income streams through private deals, this independence comes with costs. They now pay for private security, private staff, travel, and logistics entirely on their own. This is different from being supported by centuries-old royal institutions designed to absorb these expenses as part of state function. They also lost the controlled media environment enjoyed by working royals. The royal household manages press access through long-standing arrangements that limit intrusion and maintain order. Outside that system, Harry and Meghan are treated more like celebrities than protected state figures, which exposes them to more aggressive media behavior and less institutional control. In simple terms, what Prince Harry and Meghan lost by stepping away from the royal family is not just ceremonial privilege, it is an entire powerful infrastructure that once shielded and guided them. But aside from these privileges, there is another major blow they have had to face: the loss of their royal titles. On top of that, there is an ongoing debate in the UK Parliament about whether Prince Harry and Meghan should be stripped of all their royal titles entirely. But how realistic is this? How exactly do British royal titles work, and could Harry and Meghan eventually lose them completely? Let's find out. The secrets behind British royal titles. For 2 years now, there has been an ongoing debate in the public and the media about the possibility of stripping Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal titles. While this idea appears to have support among many members of the public, who believe the couple should lose all royal titles now that they no longer work for or represent the royal family. A much bigger and more complicated question remains. Does the royal family itself, or any member of it, actually have the power to strip Harry and Meghan of their titles? To answer that, we need to look at how royal titles work in the UK, where they came from, who can grant or remove them, and how that applies to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex today. Royal titles in the United Kingdom date back centuries, rooted in the deep history of the British monarchy. Long before modern parliaments and written constitutions, kings and queens ruled by what was called royal prerogative, meaning nearly absolute power in deciding matters of nobility, honors, and titles. The idea of royal titles like king, queen, prince, princess, duke, duchess, earl, and so on became structured over generations as a way to designate rank, inheritance, and responsibilities within the upper nobility and royal family. In 1917, during the First World War, King George V issued letters patent that clarified who could be called a prince or princess, and who could use the style His or Her Royal Highness. That was important because there were many descendants of Queen Victoria who had titles that confused the line of succession and caused diplomatic complications. The 1917 rules limited the style and title so that they would apply to the children of the monarch, the children of the sons of the monarch, and the eldest living son of the eldest son of the Prince of Wales, which was meant to streamline the royal family and reduce the number of titled royals. Over time, Parliament and the monarch both shaped the system of titles, but the monarch still retains strong powers, called royal prerogative, to bestow honors and, in many cases, remove them. Official research by the United Kingdom Parliament shows that a title can be granted or removed by the monarch using instruments such as letters patent or a royal warrant, often on the advice of ministers. Parliament itself can also step in. If a title is protected by law, Parliament would have to pass legislation to alter or remove it. As a result, the system today is a mix of historic tradition, royal authority. For most honors like knighthoods, the monarch can cancel them. For peerages and dukedoms, the highest forms of nobility below the monarch, removal normally requires an act of Parliament, although the monarch's role in that process is still central. That is why there are different paths to removing different kinds of royal titles, and why the debate over Harry and Meghan's titles is complicated. To understand whether they could actually lose their titles, we need to trace how they got them and keep watching, because you're about to hear some shocking secrets about Prince Harry that few people know. Prince Harry was born a royal, the son of then Prince Charles, now King Charles III, and grandson of Queen Elizabeth II. So he is a prince by birthright. That means he is automatically entitled to be styled prince under the system established long ago and confirmed by letters patent, like the one from 1917. Beyond that, on the morning of his wedding to Meghan Markle in May 2018, Queen Elizabeth officially granted Harry the title Duke of Sussex. Meghan, as his wife, became the Duchess of Sussex at the same time. For a long time after that, both Harry and Meghan were styled His/Her Royal Highness, which is considered a mark of being a senior working member of the royal family. But when they announced their decision in early 2020 to step back from official duties and seek financial independence, a decision that became known in the media as Megxit, the terms of their new role changed. Buckingham Palace made it clear that Harry and Meghan would no longer use their His or Her Royal Highness titles in any official capacity because they were no longer working royals, and they agreed to stop using the title in public and commercial contexts. Despite this change, the royal titles themselves, Prince and Princess by birthright and Duke and Duchess of Sussex by grant, were not removed. They still legally hold these titles, and their children Archie and Lilibet are recognized as Prince Archie of Sussex and Princess Lilibet of Sussex as grandchildren of the reigning monarch, King Charles. The fact that Harry and Meghan keep their core titles even though they cannot use the His or Her Royal Highness style for official duties has fueled much of the public debate. Many people argue that if they no longer work for the monarchy and do not live in the United Kingdom, they should not keep any royal titles. But legally, the situation is not that simple. The monarch alone cannot unilaterally strip them of their dukedom or birthright princely titles without parliamentary support or a clear legal process. That's because peerages, like dukedoms, are protected in law, and any removal of such titles would require parliamentary action, such as a modern version of the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, which was originally passed to strip titles from nobles who served Germany during World War I. Some lawmakers have tried to create a legal framework for stripping titles. A private member's bill known as the Removal of Titles Bill was introduced in Parliament. If passed into law, this bill could give clearer powers for removing titles, either on the King's initiative or following recommendations from a parliamentary committee, and even allow a holder to request their own title's removal. That bill was moving toward a second reading in early 2026. This creates controversy on multiple levels. On one hand, some royal experts say the monarch technically can remove the His or Her Royal Highness style and princely titles by letters patent under royal prerogative, meaning that King Charles or a future monarch could choose to revoke these honors without parliamentary action. That view, discussed in legal circles, argues that honors and styles are at the sovereign's discretion and are not subject to judicial review. On the other hand, other experts maintain that peerages like a dukedom require parliamentary authority to revoke, which means the monarch cannot strip the title of Duke of Sussex from Harry on his own. These legal disagreements feed the ongoing public argument. In practice, Harry and Meghan have already lost several royal privileges. They stopped using their His or Her Royal Highness style in official capacities, gave up military appointments. But stripping their actual titles, especially the dukedom, would be a far more dramatic step and legally challenging. History gives some clues about how titles can be lost. Prince Andrew, the Duke of York and brother to King Charles, was formally stripped of His Royal Highness style and princely title in late 2025. That was done by letters patent, a formal instrument of the monarch published in the official United Kingdom record. It followed controversy surrounding Andrew's connections to Jeffrey Epstein and growing public outrage. Although the Duke was removed from the peerage role, the decision still sparked debate about how far the monarch's power goes. In earlier history, other royals have lost their royal status or titles under extraordinary circumstances. For example, the 1917 reforms reduced the number of princes and princesses in the wider royal family as a way to reorganize and simplify the monarchy during turbulent times. Some distant descendants were no longer styled as princes or princesses after that change. And under the original Titles Deprivation Act, peers lost titles for aligning with enemies during war. Historically, stripping royals of titles usually occurred due to war, rebellion, or major constitutional change, not personal choice. There is no clear precedent for removing a modern senior royal's dukedom or birthright simply for stepping back from duties. Harry and Meghan left the UK, stepped back from official duties, criticized the monarchy, and built a life in the US. While some see this as justification for removing titles, legally their actions don't match crimes or rebellion that historically caused title removal. The monarch could technically revoke the His Royal Highness style, but removing dukedoms or princely titles would require Parliament or new law. The proposed removal of titles bill has not become law. Future changes would require legislation. Without it, the monarch alone is unlikely to revoke Harry's dukedom or princely status, and Meghan's duchess title remains tied to marriage. Their children still carry royal titles, making complete removal even more complicated. Despite all the drama and controversy, Harry and Meghan are thriving in California. Stripping their royal status wouldn't affect them in any way. Let's take a quick look at what the couple has been doing since stepping back. What Prince Harry and Meghan are really doing now. Even before Meghan got married to Prince Harry, she had been an industrious woman. Born in Los Angeles, she started her career in acting at a young age, slowly building a name for herself in the entertainment industry. Her big breakthrough came with the television series Suits, where she played Rachel Zane, a paralegal with ambition and style. This role wasn't just a job for her. It was a platform where she honed her craft and learned how the industry worked. Over the years, Meghan also appeared in various movies and smaller television projects, always showing that she could handle different roles and challenges. Beyond acting, she became interested in the business side of things. She understood that fame alone was not enough, and she worked on creating opportunities that would allow her to have control over her career. For instance, she started networking with producers, writers, and other actors, learning the ways of Hollywood from behind the camera, not just in front of it. Meghan's work also extended into producing. She didn't limit herself to acting. She started creating content that resonated with her values. She co-founded a production company called Archewell Productions, aiming to make meaningful content that could influence social change. This company became a way for her to tell stories she believed in, to produce documentaries and shows that highlighted important social issues. In this way, she was already carving out a space for herself as more than just an actress. She was becoming a media entrepreneur. On top of that, Meghan had always been involved in humanitarian and charitable work. She worked with organizations focusing on women's rights, education, and equality, using her public profile to bring attention to causes she cared about. This combination of entertainment, production, and activism showed that she had a clear sense of her brand and what she wanted to achieve in life, even before she met Harry. Prince Harry, on the other hand, had a different, but equally busy path. As a member of the British royal family, his early life was very public, but he used that visibility to build his own career and identity. From a young age, Harry was involved in charitable work, focusing on mental health, veterans, and children's welfare. He joined the military and served in the British Army for 10 years, including 2 tours in Afghanistan. His military career wasn't just ceremonial. It involved real service, leadership, and exposure to challenging environments. This experience shaped much of his outlook on life and his commitment to causes related to veterans and mental health. After his military service, Harry began to focus more on charitable projects, including co-founding the Invictus Games, an international sporting event for wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women. This showed that he wanted to create platforms that could make a tangible difference in people's lives. Harry was also involved in various other charitable initiatives, often leveraging his royal status to raise awareness and funding. When Meghan and Harry met, and eventually got married, their careers and public personas began to intersect in new ways. Initially, Meghan continued her acting career for a short period while also adapting to royal life. However, after their marriage, they gradually shifted focus toward joint projects and public engagement that combined their interests and influence. Their time in the royal family included engagements around social causes, such as mental health awareness, environmental conservation, and supporting women and children. They often spoke at events, participated in campaigns, and used media appearances to highlight issues they were passionate about. However, balancing royal duties with their personal ambitions and desire for independence became challenging, especially given the intense media scrutiny they faced. In 2020 came the decision that changed everything. Harry and Meghan made the decision to step back from senior royal duties, aiming to create financial and personal independence. This move allowed them to explore business opportunities and public initiatives more freely. They founded the Archewell Foundation, which serves as a hub for both charitable work and media projects. Through Archewell, they have featured discussions on mental health. Meghan and Harry have also signed deals with major streaming platforms, including Netflix and Spotify, to produce documentaries, docuseries, and podcasts under the Archewell banner. These deals have positioned them as influential figures in the media landscape, giving them both creative freedom and financial stability. They've been involved in producing content that aligns with their values. This strategic move shows that they are thinking long-term, blending their celebrity. Beyond media, they continue to support charitable initiatives, often combining public campaigns with their private foundation's work. But away from that, the big question has been the possibility of reconciliation with the royal family. Aside from Prince Harry speaking good of the royal family in a recent interview and admitting how he has missed his father, which is an obvious move toward reconciliation, there have been other moves for reconciliation between him, Meghan Markle, and the rest of the royal family. This situation has been unfolding slowly over the years, with ups and downs, public statements, private moments, and invitations. It's important to remember that the relationship between Prince Harry, Meghan, and the royal family has been strained since they stepped back as senior working royals in 2020. But despite that tension, there have been multiple attempts to bridge the divide. Harry himself has openly said he would love reconciliation with his family. Another clear outreach came through invitations to major events. For example, Prince Harry reportedly planned to invite King Charles, Prince William, and other royal family members to the Invictus Games in the United Kingdom, an event Harry founded and deeply cares about. That invitation was described as an olive branch, meant to bring them together for something positive and shared, rather than formal royalty business. Even though it's not confirmed exactly how many attended or whether it directly eased tensions, the gesture itself signaled Harry's desire to repair relationships and was widely interpreted as a move toward reconciliation. On the side of the royal family, King Charles has, at times, shown he wants to keep the door open for Harry to return to the fold. Several royal commentators have pointed out that while the relationship is strained, Charles has been praying and hoping for healing between him and his son, describing that they might be turning a corner and taking baby steps toward family unity. All of this shows that even though things are still difficult, both sides are not ready to give up on fixing the relationship. Do you think Meghan caused all the problems Prince Harry has had with the royal family? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss it.